Let's call a meeting of the Fiscal Court to order. Hope everybody had an enjoyable Tater Day weekend. Weather was great. I think everybody enjoyed the festivities. Mr. Roger Ford, are you present accounting for?
Yes, sir, here.
We did receive our inspection report from Jeff Burton, Director of Local Facilities. I had a couple of items. Have you already taken care of those, Roger?
Yes, sir, I have. Did you get the response out? I faxed you a copy Friday, I think. If you didn't,
I haven't seen it.
that was my response to it.
Okay. There was a couple of minor items. One was Marshall County Detention Center has not submitted the daily inmate movement report to the central office as required. We submit those reports regularly. I don't know if we do them daily.
Well, we was told you had to do it monthly, but anyway, I guess they've changed it to daily and didn't notify us, but as of that date, we started doing them on a daily basis.
Okay. And then the other was doors not properly labeled to effectively aid in the event of an evacuation. That's been corrected as well.
Yes, sir. We'd had 3 doors that actually we had done some painting, and we just didn't get the numbers painted back on the doors. I think it'd been put on with a marker or something, but they have been taken care of also. About a 10-minute job.
All right. Anything else, Raj?
Other than that, everything went great. Yes, sir.
All right.
I guess the last time I was at the court, I told you guys I was going to kind of go on and proceed with searching for a vehicle. I've been notified that 2012s, I can't get a 2012 right now. They can't order anything. They was trying to hunt me one down. There has been one tracked down, but it's above the state contract price. So it appears that probably, and nobody could tell me for sure the date right now, but it appears that we're probably going to have to wait till the 2013s come out before we could get one. They seem to think, and Sheriff, you might know more about it, they seem to think possibly June. They might be able to possibly get one around June. So we may have to amend the budget just a little bit, which I submitted to you guys last time. I feel certain that probably the vehicle, lights and cage and everything, I was talking to the sheriff the other day, I won't have to have near the equipment they have, but I will have to have some lights and a cage, and I feel like about $3,000. Sheriff, do you feel like? I think that would be plenty, I believe. So, you know, we're probably looking at vehicle and everything. I would want to say probably $30,000.
Okay, so we're probably looking at June, and by then we'll have a definite number?
Yes.
Okay, all right. All right, any questions of the keeper of the keys? All right, thank you, Raj. Anybody else? Nobody else signed up to speak? Let's move into.
I've got one statement I'm supposed to read for the court, Your Honor.
All right, sir, go ahead.
This is from Jason F. Darnold to the members of the Big Blue Nation in Marshall County, Kentucky. It says the Cats will be checking into the New Orleans International Airport with one additional item in their carry-on luggage, all non-U of K. So he is currently traveling back from New Orleans.
All right, well, more power to him. Our road superintendent and our assistant road superintendent are in Lexington at the National Association of County Road Engineers and Supervisors. It was reported they were seen burning couches and overturning cars last night in Lexington. I hope that's not the truth, but was a big win for UK. Let's move into correspondence. This is to Tim York. Tim had applied for some funding. Dear Mr. York, I'm pleased to advise you that your application for a grant from the Department of Libraries and Archives Local Records Program has been approved. A FY 2012 Local Records Grant Award of $22,214 is being made to provide funding for microfilming. The award is contingent upon the availability of state funds. Of course, Tim was real glad to get this because they are trying to get our records microfilmed, and this will go a long way to helping them in that effort. We've heard from Roger and the Department of Corrections. Those two items that we mentioned have been corrected. Any other correspondence? Excuse me, for anyone? We did receive approval this morning from the Department of Transportation for the bridge replacement, replacing two sewers out on is it Harrison Road, Bob? Chester Road. And so we'll get that in process and get started on that. Those sewers are undermining and they're getting to be a dangerous situation. And we'll hope to have that completed probably not before the planting season, but certainly before the harvest season of this year. You've all received the minutes of the March 20th meeting of the Fiscal Court. Are there any corrections or additions to the minutes of the meeting? If not, I'd entertain a motion to approve the minutes.
Motion to approve the minutes, Judge.
Have a motion to approve. All in favor of the motion, say aye.
Second.
Any opposed, no. Motion and second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Sorry, Squire Anderson. A little slow on the trigger there this morning. Too much tater day in yesterday. At our last meeting, we tabled any action on the Animal Shelter Humane Society question. I put it on the agenda today. If there's any further discussion on that, we'd entertain a motion one way or the other.
I'd make a motion that we proceed with like a phase one project of what Tickenbrock's drawn out for the animal shelter expansion, which will be about 60 or 65% of what he's drawn up, and at a cost of approximately $30,000 to $35,000.
All right, you've heard the motion. Is there a second? I'll second the motion. Any further discussion? Being not all in favor of the motion, say aye.
Aye.
Chair votes aye. No?
No.
No.
All right. Any other old business?
Judge, I just want to elaborate on that vote. I felt like it was the wrong thing to separate in 2003. I feel like as long as we continue to have two different entities in the same community doing the same thing, it's not good for the taxpayers, and I don't think it's good for the citizens. And I certainly don't think it's good for the animals. I think if we went out and built a soup kitchen tomorrow in Benton at taxpayer expense, I think it'd be the same thing as what we're doing with the Humane Society, and I think the community wouldn't understand why we were funding an organization that was competing with the Marcellus Kitchen, and it's the same thing that we're doing with the Humane Society. They are strictly donation-based. We are taxpayer-funded, and at the end of the day, anytime you have two organizations with the same mission, trying to do the same thing in a small community like this, it's a lose-lose. So I know I appreciate Bob putting all the time into looking at how we can expand, but building a building is not really the issue. It's coming together as two organizations and working together to do one mission. And that's why I just don't think going out and building a building is the right answer. Like I said, I didn't think it was the right thing to do in 2003, and I don't think it's the right thing to do today. Just my opinion.
All right, any other comments? All right, let's move into new business. We have the Marshall County Conservation District Annual Plan of Work. Our chairman of the Conservation District Board of Supervisors is Mr. Kyle Odell. They have listed their objectives, their ongoing programs, a list of some of the things that they have completed and some of the things they'll be doing in the coming year. The total budget for the Conservation District is $110,075. Of course, they have staff, they have conservation aides, the work that they do keeping the what do you call the lakes, the conservation lakes throughout the county mowed,
Watershed.
watersheds, their soil stewardship. They're proposing the total expenditures of $109,560, total available $110,755, leaving them a projected balance at the end of the year of $515. I would recommend approval of the Marshall County Conservation District Annual Plan of Work. What's your pleasure?
Motion approved, Judge.
We have a motion to approve. Is there a second?
Second.
Motion and second. Any discussion on the motion?
None.
Hearing none, all in favor of the motion say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, no. Motion carries. We have a fair housing resolution. This is the Marshall County Section 3 Action Plan. Let it be known to all persons of Marshall County, Kentucky, that discrimination in the sale, rental, leasing, financing of housing or land to be used for construction of housing or in the provision of brokerage services because of race, color, religion, sex, or national origin is prohibited by Title 8 of the 1968 Civil Rights Act, the federal fair housing law. It is the policy of Marshall County, Kentucky to implement programs to ensure equal opportunity in housing for all persons regardless of race, color, religion, sex, or national origin. The Fair Housing Amendment Act of 1988 expands coverage to include disabled persons and families with children. Therefore, the county does hereby pass the following resolution. Be it resolved that within available resources, the county will assist all persons who feel they have been discriminated against because of race, color, religion, sex, national origin, disability, or family status to seek equity under the federal and state laws by filing a complaint with the U.S. Department of Housing and Urban Development, Office of Fair Housing and Equal Opportunity Compliance Division. Be it further resolved that the county shall post this resolution and through this publicity shall encourage owners of real estate, developers, and builders to become aware of their respective responsibilities and rights under the federal fair housing law and amendments and any applicable state and local laws or ordinances. Said program, at a minimum, shall include printing and publicizing of this policy and other fair housing information through the county website and community contacts. 2, the distribution of posters, flyers, and any other means that will bring attention of those affected. The knowledge of their respective responsibilities and rights concerning equal opportunity in housing. And 3, present an analysis of impediments to fair housing choice and actions to mitigate such impediments upon request. This resolution shall take effect on the 3rd day of April 2012. What's your pleasure?
Make a motion.
We have a motion. Is there a second?
Second.
Motion and second. All in favor of the motion say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, no. Motion carries. Post that. From Pepsi Mid-America, this is for for our vending machines here in the courthouse, not the contract they have with the park. Merely says they'll provide vending equipment in new or like new condition at no cost to the second party. The type of equipment to be provided shall be agreed upon between the first party and the second party. The first party agrees to provide direct services on an agreed upon basis to the second party to include but not limited to equipment service and repair, product delivery, and the stocking of the vending equipment. The second party agrees to the following. We agree, the first party with the exclusive vending rights for the entire terms of this agreement agrees to provide first party all necessary utilities required for service, agrees that all equipment to be installed and serviced by the first party will remain the property of the first party throughout the agreement and upon conclusion of said agreement, agrees to carry public liability, property damage insurance in the amount sufficient to protect the first party from damage or loss resulting from negligence of the second party. The second party shall name the first party as a named insured on its public liability and property insurance for the extent of the first party's interest in the equipment. In the event of any lawsuits stemming from the use of the above described equipment, the second party agrees to hold harmless and indemnify first party as to any damages incurred by a third party using said equipment. In the event of a default and termination of this agreement, the non-breaching party must give the other party written notice of termination as a result of such default. If the default is remedied within 60 days following such notice, the notice of termination shall be null and void. If the default is not remedied within a 60-day period, the non-breaching party may terminate this agreement upon the expiration of such remedy period. The rights of termination referred to in this agreement are not limited to be exclusive and are in addition to any other rights available to either party in law or in equity. Should the terms of this agreement be broken without cause, the first party shall be entitled to reimbursement to equal annual sales from the previous calendar year multiplied by the remaining term of the agreement. This agreement is fully transferable should the business owned and operated by either the first or the second party be sold during the terms of this agreement. This agreement provides no further expectations of compensation from either party. This agreement shall be for 5 years from the date of signing. This agreement shall renew automatically for 2 5-year terms unless canceled in writing by either party within 90 days' notice and continue after automatic renewals on an annual basis unless requested in writing by either party with a 90-day notice. Therefore, the parties have mutually agreed to the provisions referred to above and continue their acceptance of this agreement by affixing their signatures below. I don't know how long they've had this agreement, but it's been several years. They've provided vending services here at the courthouse. I would recommend continuing our contract with Pepsi Mid-America.
Is that an exclusive agreement? I mean, I didn't hear it, but are they limiting anyone else from vending here?
Well, they've always provided all of the equipment.
It is, however, they've got Diet Coke products in part of their machines. So, I think that was at the request of some of the employees.
If someone asks, they usually try to provide whatever they want in the vending machines. So whether that's exclusive or not, I don't. I'll let go decide that. While Jeff's looking that over, Russell asked me to report that the first round of spraying has been completed on the 100 miles of right-of-way that we had contracted for. we'll be watching to see how this works. I think the next, we get 3, is that correct? Is that what they say, 3 sprayings? So the next one will be probably sometime in mid-July, early August, and then late in the fall, late fall. Supposedly, we'll only have to mow that section one time. So we're gonna watch it very closely and see if that's the case. Any overspraying or anything that gets on private property and does any damage to plants or anything is responsible of the company. And if you recall, in their contract, they said they would be responsible for anything out of the way. Russell seems to think the first round went very well, so we'll see.
Do we have this other vending machine? That's not with Pepsi. It is with Pepsi too? Oh, okay.
No, now, they have a separate contract out at the park, right, Larry?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, that will be coming up.
No, we
When?
signed that this year.
Yeah.
Early in
Yes, okay.
All right. What's your pleasure on the contract with Pepsi Mid-America? I'll need a motion.
Make a motion.
We have a motion by Squire Anderson. Is there a second?
Second,
Second by Squire Gold. Any discussion?
you don't see any problem.
That's what I was gonna ask,
Yeah.
do we have to open
Well,
it
it
up,
is
or-
exclusive. Any vending is done, that's theirs. It doesn't provide for any payment, and it's for 5 years. So, I mean, it may be consistent with what we've had in the past. I don't recall looking at it, but
Is-
everything is there.
Is there an opportunity to get payment from another vendor? I mean, is that an option?
I'm not sure. I think there are some that where there are contracts where there is payment. But I like I say, I don't know what the that may be the standard right now. I'm not, I haven't looked at another.
What's yours out at the park, Larry?
Ours goes along with our scoreboards,
Yeah.
to get our scoreboards.
He provides scoreboards.
They provide.
So you get something back
Right.
for having it there, whereas here we don't. That's the difference.
This is just as a convenience for the workers and people coming in here.
But I'm not aware of any problems.
No, I have not received any complaints. We have a motion, is there a second?
Second.
Motion and second, any discussion on the motion? Hearing none, all in favor of the motion say aye. Any opposed, no. Motion carries. We'd like to set our annual bid date for our bid openings for the, is it the second meeting? Bid openings for our annual bids on concrete, blacktop, all of the things that we bid annually, will be the 17th, which will be our next regular meeting of the Fiscal Court. The annual bids will be in today's and next week's paper. And usually, of course, Russell will be here, and we'll look at all of the bids. Sometimes we get more than one, sometimes only one bid. So if there's no objection, we'll set those for the 17th. All bids to be in our office by 9:30 that day, or 9 o'clock on that day. All right, Emily?
couple of transfers. The general fund, pays 911 fund quarterly, and I forgot to do it last quarter, so I'm doing last quarter's and this quarter's at the same time. So I'm asking to move $62,500 from the general fund to the 911 fund. And occupational tax administrator to the jail fund, $100,000. The state is starting to run behind on their payments, and we typically see this time of year. I just got last week, maybe the end of the week before last, payment for January's inmates. So they're starting to run behind, and that's part of the reason why we budgeted that $800,000, because if they get further and further behind, we'll have to do this more than we anticipated. So I do need to move $100,000. We are looking for February's payment to show up anytime. It's past due, but that doesn't get it here. So I need to move $100,000 to the jail fund, please.
All right, you've heard the request of Emily. What's your pleasure?
Motion to approve.
I have a motion by Squire Gold. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Squire Anderson. Any discussion on the motion?
None.
Hearing none, all in favor of the motion say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, no. Motion carries. I asked Roy Jones to check and see when we would, our contractor is gonna start on our new roof. Roy, have you gotten a date yet from him?
Well, he told me it would be approximately 3 weeks, and that was last week, so I wasn't at 2 weeks maybe.
Okay.
Do you know, Roy, about how long it'll take to complete the project?
They've got 60 days to complete and be done, or they have to pay a $300 per day on that. But also, I have the court, I'm here on behalf of Roger in the detention center. We're having a problem with the transfer switch at the jail.
Hey, Roy, hang on just one second. Let's correct this. The jail, 911, and the sheriff's
Exactly,
department.
it's the
today.
complex.
Put that on record if you don't mind.
The whole complex.
Exactly. The transfer switch actually monitors the power drop or failure of power into the building. When this happens, it affects 911 services, the sheriff's office, and the detention center.
Actually, what it does, Judge, it knocks all our communications completely out.
Yeah. That's what Roy shared with me, yeah.
What has happened, about a month ago, the windstorm that we had apparently took out some components of this switch. After calling Mr. Norwood at Norwood Electric, we looked into this, and to fix the transfer switch that's there is approximately $4,400. But this switch is 20 years old, and as I was sharing with Roger, in order to have parts on hand, you would need to order these same parts again to have in stock in case this happens again. So, Mr. Norwood give us an estimate to replace the switch, which is $14,000. But in my opinion, that would be the way to go instead of throwing money at a 20-year-old transfer switch.
Now, does that include labor?
Labor and setting the complex up to run during the time that it will be down to change the switch out.
What's your time limit on that, guys? Do y'all know? On what it'll take to change it out,
It's
to
gonna
make sure we
take-
don't have any disrupting in service, what I'm saying.
Exactly. What we looked at was Mr. Norwood was gonna see getting the county's mobile generator and bring down to 911 and wire them up to run off the generator and keep the jail semi-operational while they change this switch out, which will take 8 to 10 hours. And in this bid, it includes a day's setup to get ready to change the switch. But this is something that has given us problems over the past year or so. Not so much for the jail, but the 911 services. When this messes up, like right now, it would take approximately 4 to 5 minutes to turn the generator on to get power back to the building.
And using the big generator while we're doing this, that would keep you guys going, right? Is that what he said?
Yes, sir, that's what we looked over.
Okay.
I think we would probably be limited on some of the stuff, but I don't think that would be a problem, Judge. I think that we'd work around any, now we might have to bring in a little extra staff, but nothing.
So the only thing is you might have to manually do some things, right?
Would it be easier to do it after business hours?
We'll
Is
have to
that
talk
way?
with Mr. Ford. He thinks that it would be better to do it in the daytime for the jail security. But that's something we're just gonna have to work out as we go.
I mean, yeah, if we give us plenty of notice, whatnot, to where we can shut all our operations down, whatnot, we just have to be down for a day and not have to.
Well, we can get you a cord in there to run a computer or something that you may need for the
How
time.
quick? The reason I say this is because the 16th, we're transferring all taxes to the county clerk's office, and that's really our biggest issue is taxes. Is he wanting to do it here within the next week or so?
Yes, we were needing to
Okay.
get this okayed because of the fact that 911 does go down, and that causes a problem for, people in the county trying to call. And when this does happen, it's really when we're having stormy weather or, an event, when people are
Yeah,
calling.
Roy, if y'all can just give me notice enough to where, like I said, we can shut down for a day, that's really not gonna hurt us to where, as far as,
Boy, it wasn't I gonna be little limited on the light situation,
Yes.
stuff like that. I mean, that's the reason I think we done it during the daylight hours. If we had an emergency, we've got lights where if something happens at night, we wouldn't
and, you know,
have power.
like I said, I'm willing to help out with that, that's no problem. If you give me a date that you're gonna do it to where we can kinda adjust us at the sheriff's office, I don't have no problem with that either.
Well, Judge Miller wanted me to bring this to the court's attention because, and y'all make a decision on which way you want to go.
Yes.
The way he written this up, we're not sure by the way that this shorted out during the windstorm if what we've got here will actually fix this old switch leg. And this new component, the new switch leg only has one component in it that can possibly go bad, and it's $350 to $400 for replacement. Where you can see the old one there is $4,400, which may not fix the problem.
Well, what the request is that we allow Norwood Electric to put in a new transfer switch for the jail, the sheriff's complex, and 911 at a total cost of $14,000. I know that's a lot of money, but I think that's the best route to go rather than try to patch what we've got. What's the pleasure of the court?
Is that the only bid we have?
Yes, sir. It's difficult to work on this thing, and you have to cut the power off to do it. And that's one of the problems we're having. We're gonna have to get Benton Electric down there to cut the power to the building to change this out. And, to diagnose the problem was pretty intense in itself, because we had to cut the power to the building to do that. It's
And
so difficult
Norwood
to
has
get
done
more
most of
people
your
to
electrical work, has he not, Roger? So you're comfortable with Norwood Electric doing this?
I believe he's certified to work
Oh,
on the
yes.
generators and everything.
Well,
Yes.
that's who 911 board has to work on when we have problems at the towers and
Yeah.
stuff. He works.
I believe they actually put the one here in the courthouse.
Yes.
Also.
Yes.
But the generator itself's in fine shape. It's just the transfer switch that gives the problem.
Right. All right, what's your pleasure?
I'd make a motion to approve.
Have a motion to approve, is there a second?
I'll second, but I think it poses a problem when we come in. We had this with the window tinting thing. We came in and we told what somebody was willing to do it for, and then when we bid it out, we actually had a lot cheaper bid, so it makes it difficult, like for a Norwood, if we come in and say what they're willing to charge for it. I don't know how we fix that, but maybe in the future, if we're looking for competitive bids on something, even under the bid limit, we might consider not saying what somebody would do it for till we get a couple of people, you know, that, like you go, like with Castleberry McGregor, I think they're the ones that did our roof. I mean, we were all in sticker shock, or I know I was, when we heard $30,000, when we might have been able to have gotten it done a little bit cheaper or something. I don't know, just a thought on that.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Any discussion on the motion? Any further?
None.
Hearing none, all in favor of the motion say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, no. Motion carries. Make sure we give Sheriff and Roger and the 911, Luby, ample time to prepare when we're gonna make this happen. All right. I would like to have a quick executive session so Jeff can bring you up to speed on a potential lawsuit or a lawsuit. I would entertain a motion to go into executive session. I have a motion. Is there a second? Motion and second. All in favor say aye. We'll be in executive session. Let's call a meeting back into regular session. As you know, we've been dealing with the architect and the contractor out at the Marshall County Health Department for some time now, seemingly getting nowhere. So, Jeff, do you want to explain what we've done?
We have, as of last Friday, we filed a lawsuit, Marshall Circuit Court, naming the architect, the contractor, and the bonding company, as well as the architect's current firm. We hope to, the Board of Health's plan is that we proceed with that, but on the other hand, we are looking into determining what repairs and all will need to be done and getting that going completely separate, so we don't delay getting into the building any longer than we have to.
We've tried everything else prior to this. Jeff and I had a meeting with both parties and their attorneys, hoping to reach some kind of agreement, but it ended up finger pointing. He said, she said, and we felt like the only recourse we had, and the Board of Health agreed, that we proceed with these lawsuits, and hopefully we can come to some sort of conclusion. We do have structural engineers looking at the situation now. The ADA requirements are being, that portion is being taken care of now, right, Jeff?
Well, we've got the drawings in.
Got the drawings, so hopefully we'll get that, that situation corrected. All right. You've had an opportunity to review the bills. Do I hear a motion to pay the bills?
Motion, pay the bills.
Have a motion. Is there a second?
Second.
Motion and second. All in favor of the motion say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, no. Motion carries. Is there any other business?
Judge?
Yes, sir.
Just for the court's information, there is, as it stands right now, there is, whether we want to try to do it or not, $500,000 in the current budget at the state for animal shelters that we could apply for down the road.
Well, we will proceed with that. I'd like to remind everybody, the Saturday, the 14th of April, the Empty Bowl project will be taking place at the Marshall County High School Commons area between 11 a.m. and 2 p.m. Tickets are $15 per person in advance, or $18 per person at the door. You can call Miss Grace Forte at 270-205-0223 to get tickets, or you can get them at several locations. This is a very worthwhile project, and we encourage everybody. You can go make a bowl. Where is that?
The Funky
The
Monkey.
Funky Monkey. Go make
Can I say
your.
something to that? Sunday was the last day.
Oh, Sunday was the last day.
Because I
So
checked on it.
the bowl making is
The bowl
over.
making's over.
Okay. All right. So just try to be there on the 14th for a great cause, and I think everybody will have a good time. Most of the restaurants in the county, I believe, are participating in this. We'll have food available from the different restaurants throughout the county. All proceeds, of course, will go to Marcella's Kitchen. Any other business come before the court?
Judge, oh, go ahead.
No, go ahead.
I just had a quick question. Some of our nuisance complaints, they've been non-compliant, and I asked the sheriff the other day what our next course of action is. If they don't respond within the 10 days that they're given notice, and they don't choose to go before the refuse board, then that comes before the fiscal court, is that correct?
That's correct.
Okay, so if we
This
have
is a piece of property that's,
the several that we
Jump-
looked at in Gilbertsville?
yeah.
That's always been it's been very unclear to me. If they do not respond, do I bring that before y'all and let y'all?
I mean, no, I don't think you have to under that. You
So-
can.
Well, I mean, how does, from what I'm saying is if they do not respond with a written response,
Uh-huh.
if they do have a written response, then that goes before the refuge board
Right.
for their
But if they
approval.
don't respond-
If they don't, what's the process next? Do I just take it to the road department or the landfill or whoever for cleanup?
take it to the
or-
refuge department, I
Yeah,
would say.
right,
that,
and let them,
and
yeah,
let- And we'll
because they do the
proceed
cleanup.
then.
Somebody
with the
probably
cleanup.
needs to let them know what the process is if it isn't an appeal, because I don't think they understand either.
Okay.
Okay.
You mean the board?
Well, that's what I'm saying. Did I take it to the board or did I just take it out there to?
I'll look
to
at that.
hire?
I don't think I think it's your discretion after that. If you wanna let them try to fix it, if not, their appeal time, you can pull the trigger and,
Well, that's just
Clean
it,
it
Jeff. What does this ordinance say? I mean, I don't think it needs to be left up to me. If I've already deemed that it's a nuisance,
To
Well,
determine the
then
cost.
at
well,
that
yeah, I
time,
mean,
he
yeah, but
takes
if
it
you,
to the
if you
refuge
deemed it's a
department.
nuisance, I mean, it's just, depending on the situation is how and who cleans it up at our expense.
So like right now, we have at least 8 properties in Gilbertsville owned by the same person. Let's
Yeah.
just use this one as an
And
example.
it might be a good idea to run it by them, because before you start incurring that money, there may be some that because tight budget times, you may not, there may be some things you wanna clean.
Prioritize.
Prioritize.
I would almost think it would need to come here
And which is not a bad idea.
first.
I don't think it's absolutely necessary, but if you've got several like that and they wanna they can have their input in how you approach
Prioritizing,
them.
maybe spreading it out a
Okay.
little bit.
Okay.
I'd say that's always been unclear to me where you go from that
Because,
stuff if it's not an appeal.
if it might be that if it's that many and big projects, it might be that something that we bid out.
Well, that's kind of what we were wondering. I know I've got them, they've both got them,
Right.
and several of them are just kind of hanging in limbo right now, so.
Yeah.
So would you just put that on the agenda?
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, all right.
All right, any other business?
That's what I had is, finally got what monies was owed, finally got in, so this is my fee settlement for, 11. And like I said, they did give us an extension because of the state being hung up on our reimbursement for our radio grants. And, like I said, as you can see there, that, as far as reimbursement, we got everything reimbursed with the exception of, part of my salary that has not been paid. It's $35,644.99. But with that being said, I looked at everything, most everything we had either come in under or at budget, but with the exception of what I've got here. And it's things that there's just no way we could have cut those out. And, it's about 10 or 12 things, and it totaled $36,000, which is actually more than what we were actually overage, sort, or whatever. And like I said, I did everything I possibly could this last year to cut everywhere I could. And like I said, the things here, I'm talking like sheriff's bonds, the clef, our office equipment, training for our officers, prisoner transports, car repairs, things like that. That if we didn't do that, we'd just completely shut down. I mean, that's where we are, where we were this year.
Well, Kev, I know we discussed at one time, or possibly doing some minor repairs or oil changes and that sort of thing out at some of the other departments, possibly road department. I've touched base with them and they didn't know if they could could do it always, but they said they could probably
Well, if
do
we
some of
get a-
that
if we
work,
get a
and we could work
schedule.
out a schedule for that, so.
And
I
I'd be
would-
more than willing to do
I
that,
would
sit down with Russell
see,
and
talk to Russell and
Refuge
see,
and
and,
work
uh,
on that
Jeff, and see if you could come up with a schedule that would possibly help save you some dollars here.
It definitely would. And like I said, I still wanna take a look at the fuel costs, especially if, whenever you got your bids coming in, because, what Russell was telling me that one day, he was buying gas about 50 cents cheaper than what I
It
could
is.
out here,
It is.
that
Yeah,
way.
it was running 349 or 359, and he was paying 307, I believe,
Yeah.
that day
Mhm.
at the time. And I looked at a double wall tank, and I don't have all the details, but I mean, certainly there's an option if you, either at your facility or out there. He doesn't have any more room, according to him, he doesn't have any more room inside his containment. But as far as BMPs or your regulatory issues, if you have a double wall tank with spill protection, then that's adequate. That'll meet the requirement.
I mean, I think we could probably look at putting one back there behind the building that Roger has and maybe run power from that building
I
to
think
that.
we talked
if
about
if
that.
would be
So
good
that-
with you.
I forget, I had a price and I can't remember what it was. But anyway, Southern Tank, I know if you just get on the internet, you can get that's one location that has these tanks that they've been building them for years. They
Right.
meet all the specs.
Just need
Take action.
an action. Yeah, like I said, because that's the final numbers.
Okay.
I think it
Ah.
just has to be accepted.
Okay, let's accept this, accept the disbursement and statement of receipts, disbursements, and excess fees for the year 2011. Give you, time to look over everything between now and the next meeting, and we'll approve it, but we'll accept this on behalf of Sheriff Byers. Any other business come before the court?
Judge, real brief,
Yes, sir.
say something real quick on a less controversial issue. I think everybody here knows, because I've talked to all of you, but I wanted to, if there's anybody that didn't, I just wanted to kind of recap my position in my job transition. Most of you or all of you know that I turned in a resignation notice about 3 weeks ago to the hospital that stated I would be resigning as ambulance director effective May the 9th. And Air Evac Light Team, Air Medical Company, is putting in a new helicopter base in Mayfield. They're an old company. They're in 14 states. They have over 100 aircraft. We've used them here in Marshall County. They've served us from their Hopkinsville base and a base that they have down in Martin, Tennessee for a long time. But I'll be going to work for them, starting part of those duties actually next week, as a program director for the new base in Mayfield. So I'll be doing pretty much the same thing that I'm doing here now, except on a little larger scale. Be working with the same folks that I work with now. I'll just be doing that in 8 counties instead of 1. But I did want to take a chance just to say publicly to all of you and those that even served on the court before you all came here, some of you, not all of you, but that I appreciate everything, that you all have done to support me and what I do. It's not easy, and I've enjoyed about 95% probably of my job. There's always a little bit that you don't like, which is always true. I had celebrated my 30th year at the ambulance service about 3 weeks ago. 22 years of that has been as ambulance director, so I probably can say that I'm the only guy that's worked in every job position that we have, except for one. I haven't worked as a biller, but I wrote the procedure manual for that, so I've touched on a little bit of everything. But anyway, I'll be around in and out for the next 5 weeks. And then I'll still be here beyond that. I am going to stay. The hospital is going to let me stay on as a consultant to do some specific things with their emergency preparedness planning, which is something I've done a little bit of for them over the past year or so. I'm gonna stay PRN as a paramedic to keep my paramedic license active, and so I can kinda dabble just a little bit. I was hoping that my replacement would have been named actually before today. Friday, that had not happened. I was told that that name would be announced early this week. So hopefully in the next couple of days, we'll know. There was 4 people interviewed early last week, and all 4 of those folks are either full-time or part-time employees at the ambulance service. So hopefully that'll be somebody that all of you know. But anyway, I just wanted to take a minute to say thank you very much.
Thank you, Mark. And we should think this week who your replacement will be.
Yes, I think so.
Let the record show Mark will not be flying those helicopters. He'll be just working with them, which will be comforting to know, I'm sure. I think they were at the responders dinner, were they not, some of their team?
Yes.
That's what I thought. Okay. All right, any other business come before the court?
Motion adjourned, Judge.
I have a motion, is there a second?
Second.
All in favor of the motion, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, no. Meeting's adjourned.